Hello and welcome. This is not so live, this is double R, and this is episode 12. And in today's episode I'm going to be talking about wrestling. So I know not everyone's a fan, but I just hope you enjoy the episode, and if you are a fan, please tune in and leave a comment. So let's get started. So the first wrestler I'm going to talk about is the late and definitely great Andre the Giant. He was like over 7 foot tall and about 500 pound, and he was enormous. He had, his hands were 16 inches. So he just some massive big hands. He suffered from some disorder that prevented his HGH production from slowing down after puberty, and was one of the most popular French wrestlers ever to appear in the WWF. Yep, he stood 7 foot tall. Andre was mentioned in the 1974 Guinness Book of World Records. He was the highest paid wrestler in history up to that time. He'd earned $400,000 in 1 year alone during the early 70s. So this is just a picture of Andre the Giant. So as you can see, just got this picture up. That is the size difference between Andre the Giant's hand and a normal person's hand. So this was one giant man. There's also like an iconic image of him holding like a 12-ounce beer can, and the can looks like a miniature can in his hand. It just dwarfs the can. And there's like other pictures, like he's putting his hand against like a man's face, and his like hand just covers the front of the face completely. So moving on, there was an iconic match at WrestleMania 3 where Hulk Hogan went up against Andre the Giant, and it's been spoke about, and it's been spoke about in documentaries. And there's the iconic photo of where Hulk Hogan scoops him up and slams him down. This happened, like I said, at WrestleMania 3, and it was just one of them iconic moments in wrestling history. So this is the iconic slam. As you can see, Hulk Hogan's there with the yellow trunks, and that's Andre the Giant who's been scooped up. I mean, Hulk Hogan was a big dude. I mean, he was like 6'5" or something, you know, a big bloke, but he was just dwarfed by Andre the Giant. So unfortunately, on the 28th of January 1993, Andre passed away. He was aged 46 in France, in the capital of Paris, and obviously one of the greats. So moving on to another iconic wrestler, and that is Bret the Hitman Hart. So born July 2nd 1957, a Canadian American professional wrestler. So one of the matches, I mean, he's had a ton, absolute ton of matches. The most iconic and most talked about is probably the match against Shawn Michaels, which was known as the Montreal Screwjob. I ain't going to speak about that. I am going to talk about I think it was an I Quit match he had with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and it was just a brilliant match. Wrestling wise, it was fantastic. So this is an iconic image from that match. Shortly after that, I think Stone Cold passed out and Bret Hart was declared the winner, and as you can see, that is Ken Shamrock. He was the special guest referee for that match. So the match took place at WrestleMania 13, and it was probably the best match of the night. The main event was Undertaker versus Psycho Sid for the world title, and Undertaker was victorious. So moving on to another wrestling match, which would be also at WrestleMania, was the iconic ladder match between Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon. So the match took place at WrestleMania 10, and these two had met previously in another ladder match, and I think Razor Ramon won the first one, and then Michaels went on to win this one, or it was reversed, but I'm sure Shawn Michaels won this ladder match. So here we have an image from that iconic match. As you can see, there Shawn Michaels had just jumped off the ladder, and Razor Ramon's lying on the canvas. So moving away from WrestleMania, another iconic match was between The Undertaker and Mankind, and this took place at, I think it was King of the Ring, and it was a Hell in a Cell match. So the match started off, Mankind come down first and climbed straight to the top of the cell. Undertaker followed, but found out though in a documentary Undertaker had a broken foot, and Undertaker climbs to the top of the cell. They start throwing lefts and rights at one another, and then the match continues. So there's an iconic image of Mankind being thrown off the cell. The image is not very clear, but that's the best one I could find. So there's just a couple of iconic moments during the WWE, a little bit of history, and I like to choose different topics, as you know, for the Not So Live, and each episode I like to mix it up, keep it different. I mean, there is a ton more stuff I could cover. I mean, WWF's been going for like over 40 years, and there is just an absolute ton of matches. Some are absolutely amazing, some not so good, but it's just, there's just too much ground to cover. And plus, you know, all the best matches and stuff have been covered so many times, especially like from the 80s, 90s, or 2000s. So I hope you've enjoyed the episode, and I will be bringing you another episode tomorrow. I hope you all have a good weekend. If you viewed the videos, liked, subscribed, or even commented, I do really appreciate it, and thank you, and I'll catch you all again soon.